Here is a bit of a cryptozoological story. The dire wolf, has it or has it not been brought back from extinction? This article says it has not. The state of science journalism keeps getting worse, and the stories about the dire wolf being brought back from extinction make me want to give up writing about science. The dire wolf is still extinct, and the unscientific claims that we brought it back from extinction are utterly false. This Jurassic Park nonsense, bringing back extinct animals from the past, may seem cool and interesting, but it's not very scientific. Of course, we cannot bring back 65 million year old non-avian dinosaurs. Even if we could, the environmental effects would be unpredictable and dangerous, but maybe we could bring back an animal that only went extinct 10,000 years ago. Let's figure out what's going on here. Spoiler alert, we did not de-extinct the dire wolf. Then it goes into an explanation of what the dire wolf is. Did we de-extinct a dire wolf? Colossal Biosciences, a U.S. biotechnology company that is focused on de-extincting animal species, announced that they made 20 changes to an extant wolf's genome. 5 of the changes were known to produce light coats in gray wolves, which gave the dire wolves white color. The other 15 changes were based on dire wolf DNA that had been preserved in fossilized skeletons. These alter the animal's size, musculature, and ear shape. To de-extinct the dire wolf, Colossal Biosciences did the following. Extracted and sequenced ancient DNA from 2 dire wolf fossils. A tooth from Sheridan Pit, Ohio, that is around 13,000 years old, and an inner ear bone from American Falls, Idaho, around 72,000 years old. Assembled ancient genomes from both fossils and compared them to genomes from living canids, including wolves, jackals, foxes, and dholes. Identified gene variants specific to dire wolves. Determined that dire wolves had a white coat color and long, thick fur. Aspects of the dire wolf morphology that cannot be determined from fossils. Performed multiplex gene editing on the genome for their closest living relative, the gray wolf, resulting in edits to 20 sites and 14 genes, with 15 of those edits being extinct variants. Screened the edited cell lines via whole genome sequencing and karyotyping. Cloned high-quality cell lines using somatic cell nuclear transfer into donor egg cells. Performed embryo transfer and managed interspecies surrogacy. They were able to create 2 male dire wolves named Romulus and Remus from the Roman origin myth and the previously mentioned female Khaleesi. But do those DNA changes give us a whole new species of dire wolf? I am unconvinced. Sure, it's amazing what Colossal Biosciences did to alter the gray wolf genome, but a dire wolf had millions of DNA mutations that are different than the gray wolf. So, this guy seems to be pretty skeptical. This person seems to be pretty skeptical. Well, he calls himself Skeptical Raptor. Maybe he's right. I've been kind of looking at this story and kind of following the story. Very interesting, though, how they didn't necessarily de-extinct the dire wolf. They used gray wolves as a sort of hybrid with DNA, which is not exactly de-extincting the dire wolf. So, no, I don't think we're going to have dinosaurs roaming the United States anytime soon. Although, if you believe the legends, Mokele Mbembe in the Congo may be a sort of dinosaur. So, what about the dire wolf? Well, one side says it is extincted. One side says it's not. I suppose it's up to us to decide. Second Loch Ness Monster sighting of 2025 reported. In what may be the second monster sighting at the site this year, a Scottish woman standing on the shore of Loch Ness spotted an unusual shape briefly emerge from the water before submerging back into the deep. The intriguing incident, which came to light this week, reportedly occurred early last month as witness Annette Harkins was visiting the iconic location. While observing the site with a pair of binoculars, she noticed a strange disturbance followed by a few bubbles in a wave that caught my attention. Harkins' curiosity soon turned to wonderment when a dark gray shape broke the water's surface, moved a short distance, and submerged again. Despite being understandably astonished by the scene, the quick-thinking witness swapped the binoculars for her cell phone and snapped a picture seen below the curious anomaly, visible to the left of the wave before it vanished from sight. Harkins subsequently shared her curious account and the accompanying photo with the Loch Ness Center tourist attraction, which revealed the tantalizing case on Tuesday. So this is supposed to be possibly Nessie. Near Urquhart Castle, which is a famed landmark at Loch Ness. And some individuals have used the castle as a measurement standard for Nessie, to sort of measure how long what they saw, if they saw Nessie, or measure, you might say, videos and film against Urquhart Castle. And this is referring to sightings near Urquhart Castle, which is a pretty popular hangout, it seems, for Nessie. So Robert Rhines said that Nessie may have died back in 2009, but perhaps he was wrong. Perhaps Nessie lives on. Watch. Strange mystery creature spotted in Colorado.
Oh, no.
I've been teasing them all night about this.
Let's see it.
So we have something spooky and creepy to show you.
Okay. I'm
All right,
ready.
can we pull
I've
it
been
up?
bracing myself all night. Oh, what is that?
What do we think this is?
Where was it?
Okay, let me tell you all the fun little details of this terrifying creature.
It looks.
Okay, so this was
I
all
thought this was
caught
gonna
on
be a
video.
ghost.
This was in Pueblo.
No.
This-
Okay, there's one thing I notice about this, whatever it is. It appears to be picking up something with its front paws, or its quote-unquote hands. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that it's a dark-colored raccoon? A raccoon with mange? Because raccoons, far as I know, are the only creatures that we know of that pick up things with their front paws like that, in a similar fashion.
This was off of Mohawk Road by the mall. A viewer sent us this video earlier this afternoon. She says she has no idea what this little creature is.
Me either. Wait.
She said she has seen it once before during the daytime. She doesn't know what it is. Do you guys have any guesses?
He's like a little badger.
Well, are his eyes red?
It looks red in the video.
It could be the flash, though.
Yeah, you're right. That happens to the best of us. You guys know what the chupacabra is? That's what that looks like.
It could be a chupacabra. Spotted on 11 News. That's kind of cool.
The way that its little hands are like pulling something.
It's almost like a little monkey. I don't
It
know.
looks like a little monkey. I agree.
Does there a monkey escape from the Pueblo Zoo?
I cannot confirm nor deny, but so the viewer, she didn't know what this was. I read some of the comments because she posted this on Facebook.
Yeah.
I had some good guesses. One, a wolverine.
I feel like wolverines are bigger than that.
I don't know.
I have no clue.
I've never seen one, but I looked it up on Google. It kind of looks the same, or maybe like a possum or a raccoon. with maybe like some hair loss.
Oh no.
He's balding.
Badger. One of our producers just said a badger.
Badger's
Okay.
a good guess.
I think like realistically, it's probably a what did you say first?
Possum?
A possum.
A possum, a
Maybe.
Wolverine.
Do they do that though?
Maybe it's a baby Colorado Sasquatch.
If they get another video, please send that back in because I would love to
Yes.
see like if she said if she saw it in the daytime.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
In
would
the
like
daytime.
some more.
And we also would love to hear from the viewers about
you think
what
it
you thought it
is?
was. Was this creepy enough for you guys? I know I was teasing it all day.
No, yeah, it was.
I thought it was going to be a
It
ghost.
kind of
I'm
looks
glad
like
it
a
wasn't
little
ghost.
spooky creature.
Yes.
Well, personally, I think it looks to be a raccoon with mange. I think that's what it is. Because it's using its front paws much like a raccoon does. So I think what we have here is not a quote-unquote mystery creature. It's a raccoon that's lost its hair. I believe that's exactly what it is. Now, I could be wrong, perhaps, but I don't think it's a mysterious chupacabra. I don't think it's anything more mysterious than a raccoon with mange. That's what I believe it is. But you guys can tell me what you think. Oh, and by the way, I want to tell Chris Bennett out there, Kentucky Fried Fixes, thanks for the positive comments on the last two videos. Really deeply appreciate it. You can catch Chris as the co-host of the Bigfoot Mystery Squatch DTV every Sunday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on YouTube. So deeply appreciate to Chris, for Chris. Big shout out to him. Now here's something that could get a bit political, perhaps, depending on your point of view. Tariff turmoil ensnares Loch Ness Monster. Legendary Loch Ness Monster has been surprisingly ensnared in the turmoil surrounding President Trump's newly imposed trade tariffs. The famed cryptid reportedly finds itself involved in the geopolitical gamesmanship thanks to Steve Feltham, who has diligently searched for Scotland's famed cryptid since he moved to the location in 1991. To fund his record-setting quest to prove Nessie's existence, the monster hunter sells clay models of the creature online and to tourists visiting the iconic spot. Alas, Americans hoping to get their hands on the souvenirs are now out of luck thanks to a ban issued by Feltham in response to the trade tariffs announced by President Trump last week. Taking to social media, the monster hunter declared that the popular clay models are no longer available to purchase by people ordering from the USA due to his dismay over the trade tariffs. As one might imagine, Feltham's decree was met with considerable consternation from Americans online who took issue with his blanket ban. Be that as it may, the monster hunter stood firm in his decision, though eventually stopped allowing for comments on his post after he likely realized that he had opened a proverbial can of worms by wading into the highly contentious situation. So it could be considered political. It could be considered a bit controversial. He's taking a stand, apparently, against these tariffs. It's almost as if, no, he's not affected by the tariffs himself, but this is in response to the tariffs. Well, I suppose anybody can respond however they wish to these tariffs, if they want. I have no comment on the tariffs, by the way. I'm not going to say one way or the other whether they're good or bad. It seems like all this tariff talk has really been dominating the news the last few weeks. So, this isn't I don't think this is the last we're going to hear about this, though. It's certainly not the last we'll hear about the tariffs. That's for sure. Colorado woman reports Bigfoot sighting. A Colorado woman believes she recently spotted a Sasquatch lumbering down a desolate road in front of her home. The sighting occurred in mid-March near the town of Hygiene. That's an interesting name. Approximately 11 miles from Boulder. The witness, identified as J.H. in her report to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, BFRO, indicated that she looked out her front window at around 10 in the evening and noticed an ape-like creature walking very briskly in the middle of a gravel road. Beyond the simian nature of the stranger, what made the woman do a double take was the sheer size of the figure, as she estimated it to be around 8 feet tall. To that end, having spoken to the witness after receiving her report, the BFRO's Matt Moneymaker indicated that she was adamant that it had to be a Bigfoot due to the creature's monstrous proportions. Unfortunately, the sighting was rather fleeting, and the remote road had no street lights, so the woman did not get a better glimpse of the figure beyond its unusual size and shape. So what did this lady see? Did she see a Sasquatch? Or did she mistake a human for a Sasquatch? Was her size estimate accurate? She said it was an enormous figure. She said it was huge. So, what exactly did she see? Did she panic and think maybe it was a burglar of some sort? I mean, who really knows? Whatever it was walking down a street. It was near a town. It's not unheard of for Sasquatch to be seen near towns. Very fascinating case, that's for sure. I mean, what could it have been? Could it have been a genuine Sasquatch? It's entirely possible. Who really knows? So, if there's any further development on this, I will keep you guys posted. Finally, here's something fascinating. What ape genomes are teaching us about ourselves. New, near-complete ape genomes are reshaping ideas about human evolution and highlighting just how much innovation nature hides in its repeated sequences. The Ape Genome Project redraws the human family tree. For decades, geneticists have been peering into the DNA of apes in search of answers to human origins. But the truth was always a little hazy because key parts of the ape genomes were missing. Now, a vast international effort has changed that. Scientists have published the most complete ape genomes ever assembled, resolving long-standing blind spots in the DNA of chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, orangutans, and siamangs. The work, published in Nature, offers an unprecedented genetic window into the evolutionary forces that shape both humans and our closest relatives. These ape genomes will enable us to reconstruct the evolutionary history of every base pair in our genome, said Evan Eichler, a genome scientist at the University of Washington, a senior author of the study. Nature's most mysterious repeats. Much of what was previously missing from ape genomes wasn't random. It was precisely the most complicated regions, areas thick with repeating sequences and structural duplications. Until now, sequencing technologies tended to skip right over them. But these repetitive regions, far from being genomic junk, turn out to be hotspots of evolutionary creativity. We're discovering hundreds of protein-coding genes embedded in these segmental duplications that are unique to each ape species, said Eichler. Some of these have already been shown to contribute to changes that make us uniquely human, such as a bigger brain. Now, what about Sasquatch? What about Bigfoot? What sort of genomes do they have? We don't know yet. Because we don't have any verifiable DNA. We don't have any verifiable genomes of Bigfoot or hairy bipeds. So we can't make that determination on our own of what Bigfoot have and what humans have in common. But it's a fascinating answer to think about. It's something fascinating to ponder, you might say. Let's see what further developments come from this, if any. And that's going to do it for this week. We want to thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are the heart of the show. I always say that, but I always mean it. And I will continue to do this as long as you guys want me to. And for 10 years now I've been doing this and enjoying every second of it. And will continue to do it. By the way, there will not be a Cryptid-Corner on April 30th. Just thought I'd let you guys know that. There's not going to be a Cryptid-Corner because there's going to be one the week after on May 7th. Which will be the first post-Ohio Bigfoot Conference show. And that'll be principally footage from the OBC. Footage and photographs. So it'll be a special HBM's Cryptid-Corner. So, but there will be a show next week. So until then, and for the next 2 weeks actually. So until next week, y'all be good or be good at this HBM's Cryptid-Corner.